We are live.
All right. Welcome to BB Breakdown 902. I'm Melissa, and my other half, Lindsay, is just uploading our link to Twitter. We come to you every week to talk about Big Brother. We are from Nova Scotia, and we are huge super fans. So we do weekly broadcasts just to talk Big Brother. We did our fantasy draft last week for anybody that missed it. You can check that out in our link, BB Breakdown 902, if you want to see our draft picks for the players that are on our team, because we will be referring back to that at some parts in our podcast. Anyhow, so once Lindsay gives us the go ahead there, we will start talking about this week of Big Brother, which was, it felt like it was 2 weeks in the first week because it was so much happened this week. It was crazy. But
Yeah,
are
we're
we
good.
okay? So this week starts out. We last came to you after the first episode last week, and we saw that they were doing the poisoned apples, and Cody got safety to not be put on the block, and poor little Cameron ended up going home first as Paul re-entered the game, and then we went straight into the HOH where they competed in teams to begin with, and then in the final two was Cody and Paul, and Cody ended up being victorious and became HOH. However, before they started their final two, showdown, they had shook on that regardless of who wins, that either one of them would be safe. That was a deal that Paul made with Cody, that neither one of them would put each other on the block. So then we go into it was such a whirlwind week. It feels like, honestly, it's been 2 weeks because Cody had to make so many nominations this week. But Cody ends up putting Jillian and Megan on the block. And then Megan, because of numerous outbursts in the house between her and Josh and her and um, Jessica and Alex, ends up going home. And then she did like an article with people.com saying that in the past she was sexually assaulted, and it was bringing back post-traumatic stress just from the show and people yelling at her and stuff. What did you think of her self-eviction? Do you think it was justified, or do you think that her leaving was like giving somebody else that could have had a chance to play Big Brother,
I
giving up?
think that I think if she was like, if that brings back sexually assaulted post-traumatic stress disorder, then I think it's an easy pass out. I don't think she stole it from someone else. I don't think that you can know that shit comes up to the top, and I don't think she could have prepared for that. So I don't begrudge her at all for that decision. In fact, I think she made the right decision for her. I was a bit disappointed in the way that Big Brother, the show, the production team handle it, given the fact that she has been in People magazine, all over, like tons of different articles. I've seen so many different articles about it, more than I expected for a Big Brother contestant, to be honest. And it may have been given the fact that, she had been assaulted and that bothered her, and like that's a common thing and she couldn't deal with it. Which is normal and fine. But I just felt like they kind of like poo-pooed it, and like a second they were like, every time we're given a gift, blah blah blah. Like I didn't like the edit on it. I thought it could have been handled a lot more. Like even at the end, if they had said, if you're being like sexually assaulted, here's a number or something. Like they just kind of like went right back into game mode. And like, don't get me wrong, I love the game, but I think that that was not handled the way I think it should have been personally.
Yeah, I think that maybe it should have been highlighted a little more what she was actually feeling and going through.
And they're
Um,
not going to share that in the house, and I get that, but I think like for us, the viewers who are reading all about it, I think they should have handled the edit a little bit better. That's all I guess I'm saying. Like, and like given some advice saying like, this is a normal thing, it's okay. And I just didn't think that was that. Sorry, I interrupted you, but that's how I feel.
no, I agree with you on that part. They should have maybe highlighted like what she was going through, because it was like not apparent at all to the viewership until we read the articles like from Megan that she did in People and all the other places she had been interviewed in. I agree with you there, but the um, the fact is that like she wasn't like, well, not the fact, like, I'm not downgrading at all, like, her experience or like the fact that she was feeling like she was having like a high amount of anxiety, which it was pretty evident she was at one point in the diary room. But at the same time, maybe they didn't highlight assault in the past because she didn't want it disclosed. You know, it is a confidentiality thing too for her. Like, maybe she didn't want to talk about it in the DR. Maybe she didn't want people to know about it initially, but then after she saw how people reacted, maybe to her leaving and realizing that she owed the viewership, or she felt like she needed to explain herself after the fact, once she was more level-headed and
Mhm.
not so anxiety ridden, maybe she felt then that she could talk about it. But at the time, she didn't want any of what she was going through aired. And maybe that's why they edited it the way they did. I'm
That's a
not
good
sure.
point.
But that's kind of where I saw it coming from, because technically, yes, a lot of people were yelling at her, but nobody like sexually assaulted her in the house.
No, but I think like people going at you, like she just, I don't think like she's probably surrounded her life in a bubble of protection, right? Like when you go through something that traumatic, you avoid that crap like the plague. And yes, like I don't know why she would choose to go to the most negative host in the whole entire world, but maybe she thought she was tough and strong and what a great opportunity. I don't think she robbed it from someone though. I think she probably thought like I'm fine, I'm fine, and sometimes that's a victim mentality, and so, but I don't begrudge her at all. In fact, I think like these things happen, and you don't know until you're like in it that that's why you're having that panic attack.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's true, and it's hard to explain when you're in the moment and you're having it.
Totally, totally.
Um, but anyway, so I think we kind of did Megan her due diligence, and talking about her longer than was talked about on the show.
Yeah, we've talked about her longer than her on the show, which I feel good about.
So she self-evicts, forcing Cody to put another person on the block, which he wasn't expecting to do.
Mhm.
Anyways, he ends up putting Alex on the block for some reason, because of the little tiff that Jess has been having with Alex in the house. I don't know if it's been out of jealousy because Cody has been talking to Alex because he really respects her, which he disclosed in the DRs, that he respects her because of the first challenge, the safety challenge, when it was them two as the final two hanging on the vines.
Mhm.
Um, so I think it might be a form of jealousy. Somehow that was in the back of his mind, that he had to put her on the block or something to like show his honor to Jessica. Let the showman said he's gotten himself into. I'm not sure, but anyhow, he ends up putting Alex on the block and then immediately regrets it. And they go into the veto competition, which is the starfish mermaid competition where they have to like stack as many starfish as they can, and then ding in when they think they could potentially be the winner. And Alex ends up winning the competition, partially because she had the most starfish, and partially because Cody like just gave up when it was him and her left. So what do you think of Cody giving up and clearly showing the whole house that he was throwing it to Alex? And what do you think about that? Were you expecting that from him being such a competitor up until this point?
I can't predict this guy at all. Like I did not see that coming. I did not see who he renominated. I did not see him putting on Alex on the like he is all over the board. He's a very interesting player. I think he's going to be out soon because he is just a wild card, that one. Oh my goodness. He's making quite the little impression with his first HOH. I mean, this is why you watch Big Brother, for guys like this, in my opinion. I was surprised he was so like, oh my gosh, it's just so weird. Like it's so different than Canada, like Big Brother. Um, RIP. Um, because I think that it was just like he goes up to her and he's like, I really respect your game and like, do you want to work together? And she's like, no, I do not. And I was like, oh my God, like this is crazy. So I was surprised after that. And then putting her on the block and feeling like his hand was forced, that he ended up just being like, here, have it. I would not want to be affiliated with this guy at all. Trouble.
Yeah,
Love it though. Love it. He's making great TV.
oh yeah, like this is the and it's been mentioned on Twitter, but like I thought it instantaneously. We've never seen a villain character on Big Brother platform be so instantaneously, like within the first couple episodes, like they're automatically a villain. Like he was like, you could feel it in the first episode that he was a villain. And normally it takes like at least a week to like feel out who the villain is and like set them up to be a villain.
Yeah.
But this guy is just instant villain, and I think he's kind of living for it. Like he doesn't care what his gameplay is going to look like. He's playing for himself. He's playing for his strange ways of mapping this game out. Like he's completely gone rogue, as one would say. And I'm living to see his game. Like he was my last pick on the draft pick, but like actually he's the most interesting player on the season, I think, aside from Kevin, which we'll touch on in a few minutes. But predictability is just like, I don't know, it's a breath of fresh air in a way, because you can't expect like what he's going to do, like ever. Like
I know.
he has no loyalty to anybody but himself, which is kind of nice in a way. But I don't know how long that's going to last, because you can only be HOH for 1 week. You can't be HOH for the whole game. So yeah. So anyhow, Alex ends up winning this veto, and then the Den of Temptation is shown to us that each week there will be different temptations, and for each temptation taken, that somebody in the house will get cursed. So as to no surprise to anyone, Paul won the first temptation, which was 3 weeks of safety. Shocker. And they tell him that he can either tell people, or that it can be a secret until he's potentially put on the block. And so in Alex taking herself off the block, of course, Cody, not liking Paul from the very beginning and or trusting him, tries to renominate Paul to be put on the block, and then this secret medallion of temptation or of safety gets revealed, and the whole house now knows he's 3 weeks safe and knows that somebody's going to be cursed, and poor little Ramsey ends up being cursed by luck, and he ends up being cursed that he has to put himself on the block for one of the next 3 evictions. He has to choose which one he wants to be putting himself on the block for. And so, okay, first let's talk about Paul getting the safety. Are you surprised he got the safety?
No, predictable.
Predictable, yeah, I know. And then for poor Ramsey, he has to put himself on the block. Do you think he can get out of this pickle? Do you think he'll actually get voted out if he puts himself on the block at all? Or
It'll depend. But no, I don't know. I don't know. He seems pretty lovable, and he's not a threat at all. And so, if it's somebody like he goes up against Cody, or he goes up against like a big head, like a big person, that might be interesting.
yeah, I'm also interested. Well, actually, people to be on to him. He's talking about everybody. This week it was kind of when Dominique and because I've been watching what I can watch of feeds on YouTube, and Dominique and Matt have this secret alliance that's starting to become apparent because Ramsey went around and told people that they're in a secret alliance. And actually it's quite strong, this alliance of Matt and Dominique. And it's quite surprising, actually. I never would have expected those two to pair up, but they have quite nicely. And they both really respect each other's gameplay. And so they're kind of on to him that he's going around the house talking to everybody, kind of being like a little bit of a mole. And I don't know if he'll be a target, or if he puts himself on the block, if he'll be safe. So it'd be interesting to see that play out.
Agreed.
That curse. So after Cody is in complete ceremony that he cannot put Paul on the block because he's safe for 3 weeks, he ends up putting Christmas on the block instantaneously. And I don't know where his head was at there. I guess he probably sees Christmas as a threat. And
I thought she was in one of the couples, but she's not. I think her and one of the other girls, I can't remember her name. Oh, Elena. I find them, they don't look alike, but I think of them as the same person. So I was surprised, and I was like, isn't she in the alliance? But like, that was surprising.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he put her on the block as like a physical target, that he was afraid of her in a way. And but I thought she was kind of aligned with him, which she also thought she was aligned with him in the fallout of the her being nominated, and the house kind of blew up after Paul was potentially nominated. And then Christmas, I watched that on YouTube too, and it was quite entertaining because Paul confronted Cody and he confronted Jessica. So Paul is being like, despite his safety, he's being super in your face to people now. Do you think that's smart gameplay, or do you think it's kind of silly gameplay being so
I think it's just in his nature, to be honest. I think he's just like by product a leader, and that's what he's doing. And I think he likes the game. He enjoys it. He's clearly a fan as well. So I think he's playing because that's just who he is, right?
Yeah. I hope he's like, I think Paul's an entertaining character. I always have. I think he is actually jiving quite nicely in this cast, which I wasn't sure like where he'd really fit when they threw him in there. But now he's kind of like, as I kind of predicted, forming an alliance with Kevin, which is kind of neat to see as well. And Kevin, oh my goodness, he's emerging as like the lovable character this season, like America's favorite. I think he'll end up being if he stays around long enough. He has so much to offer, and his jokes are just unpredictable. And I don't know, he's just so charming, don't you find?
Yeah. He's got good style too for a dad of 7 kids or whatever. 6 kids, I don't know. Either way, he has like his little like cut off shorts, and I find him entertaining. Yes.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying him. So in all that fallout, Christmas ends up tearing some ligaments in her feet or something when she was horsing around with Jason, the rodeo clown, in the backyard, and ends up being injured, as we also have seen in the past in season 2 of BB Can, when John got injured with his shoulder, where he initially was a physical threat and then was downplayed with the injury. Do you think that it was Christmas's amazing, uh, not gameplay, but like campaigning that got her out of the hot seat this week? Or do you think the injury downplayed her being a physical threat? Or both?
I think she had Paul in her corner, which was a nice thing because he advocated for her. So that's one thing. I think that the injury obviously wasn't intended, but I think she used it to her advantage, at least with Mark. And I think Mark was a big swing vote, and I could have gone the other way. So I think, I mean, obviously, like, again, that was super edited. I'm sure they were out there for like 4 hours talking and stuff. But like, the reality of the situation is that he was swayed by her, and I think it was just like she was like, don't be a shitty person, and he's like, I'm not a shitty person. And I think he felt bad, and because he's a human. So I think he's like, on the one hand, I think he's trying to play the game, and then on the other hand, like, I think he struggles because like he wants to be known as a good person. His grandparents are watching, like, I think that's a big part of it. So I think he's struggling a little bit, and it was so interesting. I mean, I'm getting ahead of this, but like, we've been talking for 25 minutes and we haven't even talked about like what happened. So I'm saying, like, when everything went down and he's like talking to Cody and stuff, he's like, I don't know. Like, I mean, in 10 minutes, he's probably gonna be like, Cody, like, his moral compass is going to be like, Cody, I did it, and this is the reason why. But like, so I don't know. He seems like an emotional guy. That's not a bad thing at all. But I'm saying, like, sometimes you gotta like wrap that shit up. Don't cry. Be like an adult. I don't know. That's just me.
Well, I think it's kind of working to his advantage though, because he is such a big, muscular, physical kind of guy. And the fact that he's showing the house guests that he is emotional, that he can be vulnerable and he can cry, it's kind of masking his huge stature, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's making him seem more innocent and less of a threat. So I think actually him being emotional, as much as it's sometimes a little over the top, at the same time, it's actually helping his game.
Somebody tweeted Mark, the biggest teddy bear with the biggest arms in BB history.
Yeah, he honestly is Um, he's so cute. He's hard not to like, and I'm really happy he's on my team. Just saying. I'm hoping for a win from him soon, but we'll see. He's in that showmance with Elena. Uh, are you surprised by him showmancing with Elena, or
No,
do
I
you
mean like they're hooking up. So yeah, no, I'm not at all.
know? No, I was surprised by his Elena choice. I would have thought like he would have, I don't know, he would have gravitated to more like a, because he's just so sweet and so bubbly that like I would have thought he'd like go for like a Raven, like a more sweet kind of
No,
character.
he's gonna go for the wild child. Wild
Elena.
child all the way for him.
Yeah, so that was a unique pairing. Um, so inevitably, Christmas ends up staying by a landslide, and Cody and Jessica are in complete shock after the votes are
Good
revealed.
eviction speech too on her part. Love that.
Oh yeah, that speech was awesome.
Hmm.
I love a good eviction speech. And I love it when people just call out who they're going for in their eviction speech and it rings through. Um, then after she ends up staying, Jessica gets all in her face, like almost like wanting to fight her, it seemed.
She
Uh,
seems like an aggressive little spitfire. I don't know if that's good or bad. Like she seems like Ica season 3. Scary.
yeah, I don't know. Like I wasn't expecting her. I was expecting Jessica to like be but the behind the scenes kind of all back smacking, back talking people, not in your face like I'm calling you out, I'm coming for you, blah blah blah. Like that's what she displayed, and I wasn't expecting that from her. That fire from her. So let's see how that plays out with this Candy Crush HOH, I guess. I didn't really even understand what they're doing. Like they have to get a certain amount of tickets to get a ball to like get the ball in the hole or something, and then you can give your tickets to somebody else. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I'm not sure.
I hope
Sometimes
they
they make
explain.
it so complicated when it can just be like, just shoot the ball. I'm looking to see but the feeds are back apparently, but they're still competing. So
I'm excited to see who wins, and uh, I'm really hoping it's like somebody that's going to stir the pot a little bit. Because if
yeah.
John and Cody end up being HOH again,
Oh, she's not gonna win. They're saying that she's having a hard time out there. So
is
it's
she?
just so good when like it's like when there's been a lot this week. Like I'll be honest, you know you love it, and everyone knows that. But I just watched the second episode 2 days ago, like the Sunday episode or whatever, and then I watched the other two, or the one tonight, and then the other live show tonight. And I was like, oh yeah, no, this season is good. Like it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like I really am bummed we can't see live feeds. That is so stupid. We talk about that a lot on here, but like this is stupid.
I know.
I will give
I
you my money, and you will get more money because I am a Canadian, and there will be an exchange rate. Give
oh yeah.
me the feeds.
I would gladly pay however much they want to charge me to get the feeds. I don't understand this whole, and they were even, so I guess I'll kind of open up the portal to like other like show related things, because I was reading an article today that Julie Chen was saying that they really have to, they're working on revamping BBOT before bringing it back, the one that was all online, then it was only available to CBS All Access people,
Mm-hmm.
saying how like they only hit a certain demographic, and like I think they didn't get as much viewers as they wanted. And I think honestly, I don't know, because I can't see the ratings, and anybody that's out there can let me know, but I don't know if feeds have dropped, like the amount of people that tune into feeds since they made you sign up for CBS All Access, has the amount of people tuning into feeds dropped? Like, are they getting as many people tuning into feeds because they made them sign up for All Access? I'm not sure. But it's really sad that we don't get it. So what I've been doing is I've been going on YouTube and just watching clips of feeds to catch up on the week of what we're missing. Because I live for feeds. Because if you don't watch the feeds, you're not really watching the whole show. So It sucks.
My gosh, I'm so excited. I'm trying to like, no, they're still going, and people are tweeting a lot.
Yeah.
My God. And Cody's just so scary. He looks like the type of guy that, like, I would never want to be in an alleyway with that guy at 3 o'clock in the morning. He literally looks like he's gonna like hurt you.
Well, he's military, right? So he's trained to like.
Oh my gosh, but like a smile never hurt anyone.
There was a YouTube clip of his first smile. It was pretty funny. But
Like a gift, like a
it was no, it
like
wasn't.
the Grinch, like when he's like,
Yeah, it was quite. It's quite fun. Like watch it. It sucks that we can't watch the feeds, but it is fun to like go through YouTube and like pick out the feeds that you do want to
oh my
watch.
God, these tweets are amazing. This person tweeted out, first of all, his hashtag is hashtag things Cody hates. And then
Yeah,
it says Cody looking like a kid in a candy store, dot, 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 that hates candy. Look at the picture.
that's amazing.
Oh my God, this is the best. This is crazy. It's so good. Anyway, I'm really enjoying it, clearly.
I am too. All right, I think that wraps up our show for this week, though. Does it? Where are we at for time?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks to everyone that tuned in live with us tonight, to anybody that tunes in after the fact. We appreciate your support. So we will be back next week. We're going to go offline and discuss when. And we're hoping that you guys will tune back in with us and hear what we have to say about Big Brother. All right. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you. Bye.